Today we are going to finish our wall pockets. So you are going to have an options on what you're going to do. So we have our piece here. It's leather hard. You can take my newspaper out, so you can pull your newspaper out of it now. And you're going to kind of start to formulate a idea. You can look on Pinterest, you can look on Google for ideas on what to do. So we're going to learn how to add a little sculpture to it, some details on how to clean it up so it's nice and neat, and then we'll also poke a hole in it. So I've got this kind of idea, but then I can also give it a very specific purpose as well, and I can put some sort of disclaimer in here about what this is for. So this is for keys or things like that. So we're going to go through how to do that. First thing that we're going to do to start is we have our envelope piece right here. I want to make sure at my table I'm working on my board. I've got a bowl of water with a little paintbrush, and you can get those by the sink up at the front. Then you're going to get a piece of paper towel, fold it, and put the slip on it. So the slip is in the ice cream bucket by the tool area at the front of the room. Then from the barrel, grab just a little tiny slip. I'll start right here. And what we're going to do is you're going to put your hand behind your clay, and you're going to take your number 2 pencil, and we're going to poke a hole. If I poke a hole up here really close, then it's going to create skinny little bridges, and it's going to crack apart. We don't want that. So I'm going to go about 1.5 inches lower. I'm trying to get that in the middle. Right. And I'm going to just use this like a drill, and I'm supporting with my hands on the back so it doesn't crack. And I'm going to push it all the way through. And then back out again. And you're going to see on there are these pieces that come up, so your clay pushes out. And if we leave those there and there, what's going to happen is they are going to become permanent, and they are going to stick you, so they'll cut you as you're working. So you got to be careful with that. So just take that and smooth it down. And even though we won't see the backside when it's painted on the wall, do your best to make it as even as possible. Then you flip it over and you'll do that to the same. So I'm just going to kind of press it down, smooth it out. I can take my paintbrush in the water and get it nice and round. That is step 1. All right. Next step, we want to go through and we want to clean up all of our edges right here and our seams so it looks nice and neat on there and not too lumpy as we go through. All the edges we want to be soft. So I'm going to take my round sponge, dip it in the water, and squeeze it out. So I shouldn't have water dripping from my sponge when I'm done, otherwise that's too much. You're going to take this and kind of hold it, go over those edges there. And that way I'm getting the back side and there won't be anything too sharp. And then I'm gonna go along the side right here. And so I can do this first, take my pencil and press down. I want to keep the line where those creases are. There, and then I'm gonna go all the way up. If I had something that kind of came out, that got squished out over the edge when I pulled it over and I don't want to see it anymore, I can take my knife and you just kind of carefully press down and get rid of just little sections at a time. I'll do that. Once that's done, when I cleaned up and got my edges, back in with the paintbrush and water. And I'm gonna go right in those little grooves and clean that all up with my paintbrush. The next thing that we're going to do is, before I get going too far, I want to make sure that my name gets into the back of my envelope piece. For that, we have the alphabet pasta. So alphabet pasta usually lives in a cardboard box by the window where all the textures are. You're gonna take some and you can dump it out so you can look through to find your letters. Otherwise, if you look through the box, it just takes too long. I found my initials, a C and an N. So I'm just gonna put them in the back. I'll put my hand inside here to add that pressure on. And then I like the back of my knife to put them in. And those stay in, we don't take them out. They're gonna burn out in the kiln so that I can then see my initials really clearly. All right, go ahead and find your initials and put that in your box. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to add my sculptural details. So you can look at your phone, you can look at your computer. Pinterest is a good one, but if I want to add like ceramic piece, it'll give me ideas about how things have been done and created before. So that's why I do like Pinterest. Google is a good choice too. Don't go off of your memory of what something looks like. You want to actually have a reference photo. It will increase the quality of what you made by just looking at it. So there isn't an artist out there alive who doesn't use a reference, especially as they get started. So I'm going to add a leaf sculpture to mine to get started. And then I was looking at this right here, and I could put like maybe a bird on there, or just tiny little raccoon in the tree. I don't know, something kind of fun, funky right there. I'm going to take my clay from the barrel, take a little bit off at a time, and I'm going to squish it down to kind of start my leaf design. So get my leaf to look at. So I'm not going to get too complex on this leaf right here. I'm going to keep kind of the shape that I want. Nice and simple. So I'll take it and I'll start by just kind of drawing it out on here with my needle tool. If I like that design right there, I will go ahead and cut it out with my knife. And so I have my basic leaf shape. I want to think about a leaf in its entirety though as I'm doing this. Or if I'm making something in the round, like I did with the pea here, or the fish, it can't be completely flat on there. I I've got to kind of round it out. So a leaf doesn't have this thick edge to it here. So I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to start to smooth it down first. And then I'm going to run the edges in between my fingers. I broke it, so I'm going to smooth it back. Dip my finger into the water then. And just kind of run that, smooth it down so it has an edge to it. That's nice. So it gets more of that shape. The next thing I'll do is I'll add that imprint of the vein texture on there.
For this recollection, one last reminder, fresh.
Then I'm going to take my needle tool here and start to do my interior veins as they appear. I'll have some stronger ones down the middle and then kind of going out to the side. Up. Then I'll have some smaller ones still offshooting from there. It doesn't have to get too complex, nice and easy. And I can go through and give my sides a few more ridges and folds as I go. So I did that with my needle tool. Now I'm going to come back through with my pencil and get those really to stick out on my piece. Because I like where they're all at. I don't want to just guess. I'm not going to do my cleanup work while it's on the table here because it won't really come out the way that I want it to. So I just kind of started up right there, got some veins going, and I add some smaller little details to it once it gets on. So now I'm going to score and slip this onto my actual project itself. So you don't have to take everything and score and slip it just flat onto your piece. You can make it come up a little bit, but you don't want to have little tiny things that poke out. Those are all going to break off. So I'm going to take this piece right here, and I'm going to kind of bend it just a little bit how I want it. Gives it more of that realistic kind of a look when it has that to it. I'll mark where I put it down with my needle tool. And now I can take it and I can score on both of those edges. So when I'm scoring, I made these little hatch marks where I craft it one way and then cross it over the other. I have to do that to both sides and pieces of clay. I have to do that to both sides and pieces of clay right here, otherwise it won't bond together. I'm going to score this side, and then up here as well. This is the same thing that was on the texture video. Same technique, just keep happening. Take a little bit of slip, put a little bit on each spot where you scored. I don't need to go crazy, so it squishes out everywhere. And then I'm going to place it on where I want it to be. I'll kind of press it down just a little bit. So from here, now it's time for me to go through and clean it up. I can go through, you can add sculptural details to the whole thing. You can also draw in something. So like I put a bottom of a boat right here, so it looks like then the fishing line is folded down. You can just add little details. You can find some more alphabet pasta and make a little placard on there. Anything that you want to do to these today is fine. As soon as you score and put something on though, I want you to go back with your paintbrush and water and just make sure your seams are good and you can't see any of those scored details. All right, that is how you put together your piece.